They say when you give someone everything, you leave nothing for yourself. Sounds poetic, sure, until you're staring at your reflection at 6:17 a.m., wondering when your eyes started looking like deflated tires and your abs officially turned in their 2 weeks' notice. I wasn't always like that. Back in the day, I was the kind of guy who played guitar, lifted weights, hosted poker nights, grilled like it was a competitive sport, and laughed, really laughed. I had dreams, goals, a freaking personality. Then I met her. Madison. Beautiful, smart, funny. Every guy in the room noticed her, but somehow, I was the one she walked up to that night at the wedding. Said she liked my tie. I didn't even remember wearing one. We dated, fell in love, and got married under a sky so blue it looked photoshopped. And somewhere between our honeymoon and our 5th anniversary, I started a quiet, slow demolition of myself. Voluntarily. Like some deranged renovation project. No one asked me to do it. Madison certainly didn't. But I saw the way her parents used to bicker, the way her ex-boyfriend forgot her birthday, the way her eyes sparkled when I brought her breakfast in bed. So I decided, I'd be different. Better. I'd be the dream. So I said goodbye to my Saturday morning basketball games. Sold my motorcycle. Swapped whiskey for wheatgrass. Traded my guitar for Pinterest-inspired shelves. My guy stopped inviting me out after a while. I'd always say no. And she seemed happy. At first. She smiled a lot. Said I was so thoughtful. Called me her rock. And rocks don't complain, right? But something shifted. It was subtle at first. Less eye contact. More phone time. Compliments got rarer, like exotic animals. The sparkle I'd once seen in her eyes when I walked into the room dulled. Like I was furniture. Reliable, sturdy, beige furniture. Still, I kept at it. Cooked her favorite meals. Did the laundry. Booked the couple spa weekend. I even signed up for a book club just because she said it was sexy when men read fiction. I was halfway through some literary tragedy when I realized something. I was exhausted. Not tired from work. Not tired from errands. I was soul tired. Because somewhere along the way, I stopped being her husband and started being her support staff. But even then, I didn't suspect anything. I thought marriage had seasons. Maybe we were just in a rough patch. Winter comes, you shovel. That's the rule, right? I didn't know I was being buried. I wasn't suspicious. That's the worst part. Looking back, I should have been. There were red flags the size of beach towels, but I just folded them neatly and stuck them in the linen closet. You know how you notice tiny things but brush them off? Like the new perfume. The extra gym sessions. The sudden interest in yoga, when the last time she tried it she pulled a hamstring tying her shoe. There were more work trips. More girl nights. More locked phones. But I didn't pry. I respected her privacy. I told myself that's what a mature husband does. That trust wasn't just part of marriage, it was marriage. Besides, she'd never do something like that. Not her. So I doubled down. I started learning how to make Thai food from scratch. Watched makeup tutorials so I could compliment her eyeshadow properly. By the way, if you ever want to question your life choices, try saying, "Is that a warm bronze shimmer?" with a straight face. I even bought her a damn Peloton. That's right. I gifted her the vehicle she'd eventually use to pedal straight into another man's arms. Irony's a clever little monster. And me? I kept shrinking. My friends? All gone. My hobbies? Collecting dust. My laugh? Quiet. My mirror? Unforgiving. You know what really gets you? It's not the silence. It's the way it gets filled. I'd come home and hear her laugh on the phone with Claire from accounting, only to walk into the room and watch her face switch faster than a Netflix preview. Blank. Emotionally buffering. We stopped arguing. That was a bad sign. Arguing means you care enough to fight. We were just parallel lives now. 2 apps open, running in the background, draining each other's battery. But I didn't crack. I just kept showing up, every day, like a good soldier. A reliable, responsible, romantic fool with an invisible target on his back. If I was boring, it was because I turned my life into a service job. Husband 2.0. No glitches. No needs. Just performance. And yet, something in my gut kept buzzing. Like my soul had a notification it couldn't clear. It was a Thursday. That boring kind of day where nothing's supposed to happen. I remember that because I was microwaving leftovers and thinking, wow, this is probably as uneventful as life gets. Turns out, life has a mean sense of humor. I was walking past our home office, her office, when I heard something. A voice. Not hers. Male. Low. Too familiar in tone. That kind of voice you don't use for coworkers unless you're playing a whole different kind of team-building game. I paused, not eavesdropping, just processing. And then I heard it. Her laugh. That laugh. The one I hadn't heard in over a year. The one she used to save for me. Soft, playful, like a secret she was letting someone in on. I knocked on the door like an idiot. Why did I knock on my own home office door? Because I was still that guy. The polite husband. The man who made space. The man who respected boundaries. Hey, I said. Dinner's ready if you're hungry. She muted the call so fast it was like a magic trick. Oh, yeah, I'll be down in a minute. I didn't ask who it was. Didn't need to. Something about the way she wouldn't meet my eyes told me everything. But you know, denial's a hell of a drug. So I nodded and went back downstairs. Ate cold pad thai alone. Thought maybe it was nothing. Maybe I was just tired. Paranoid. And then the universe sent the real punch to the gut. Later that night, I went and grabbed my laptop from the office. She was in the shower, singing. Funny how betrayal doesn't quiet people. It makes them lighter, like guilt burns calories. I opened my laptop, and there it was. She'd forgotten to close a browser tab. Rookie move. An open email thread. A name I didn't recognize. No subject line. Just message after message of things I will never, ever unsee. Nothing graphic. No explicit photos. But words? Words are brutal. Words are forever. Things like, I wish he was more like you. He's just there. Like a houseplant. I know it's wrong, but I can't help how alive you make me feel. Alive. That word hit me the hardest. Because I had killed myself trying to make her life easier, better, happier. I handed her every piece of me like a gift-wrapped sacrifice, and somehow, I ended up being uninteresting. That night, I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I just stood in the hallway outside the bathroom, listening to her sing, and realized I was done. Not broken. Not defeated. Just done. She cheated on me, sure. But I betrayed myself first. I handed her the blueprint and let her build someone else's future on my ruins. But not anymore. People always imagine the moment after discovering betrayal like it's a Hollywood scene. Screaming. Glass shattering. A storm of emotions that rips the house apart. But mine? Mine was eerily calm. I closed the laptop, gently. Like it was sleeping. Walked upstairs and brushed my teeth while she was in the shower. Didn't say a word. Didn't accuse. Didn't ask. I just existed. Like I had been for years. Ghost of a husband. CEO of quiet disappointments. That night, I lay in bed next to her, staring at the ceiling while she scrolled through her phone, probably texting him good night under some innocent name like Kevin from HR. And I realized something. She had left a long time ago. She just didn't bother to pack. That night wasn't when I left her. That night was when I came back to myself. The next morning, I woke up before her, something I hadn't done in years. Made coffee for one. No eggs. No avocado toast. No attempt to win affection through calories. I went to the mirror. Stared at the guy looking back at me. Hair a little thinner. Eyes a little duller. But he was still there. Underneath the fatigue and the compromise. He was still in there, buried under years of yes, dear. I didn't start by yelling or packing bags. No, my revenge wasn't going to be loud. It was going to be patient, personal, poetic. I started small. I dug my gym bag out from the back of the closet. Still had my old lifting gloves inside. Dusty, but intact. I renewed my gym membership that afternoon. The guy at the counter looked at me like I was someone's dad trying to reclaim high school glory. Close. I was someone's husband reclaiming his dignity. Day one at the gym was ugly. My arms trembled like spaghetti noodles. I almost threw up after 20 minutes on the rowing machine. But I walked out of there with my head high. Because it was mine. My decision. My time. My pain. Over the next few weeks, I kept it quiet. Played dumb. Ate cleaner. Lifted heavier. I even re-downloaded that songwriting app one used to use back when music still made me feel something. Picked up my guitar from the garage, strings rusted, but the calluses remembered. I stopped asking her questions like, everything okay? I stopped trying to be her personal assistant, therapist, and emotional safety net. Funny thing happens when you stop orbiting someone. They notice. One night, 3 weeks in, she looked up from her phone and asked, where have you been going after work? I smiled. The gym. She blinked. Really? Since when? Since I realized I'd been letting myself go. She didn't know what to do with that. Probably thought it was a midlife crisis. Or an ego trip. Or maybe, just maybe, she felt that first tremor of fear. The one that says, I don't have him under control anymore. I didn't gloat. I didn't poke the bear. Because I wasn't doing this for her. I was doing it for me. Then came phase 2, the career resurrection. See, I'd once dreamed of starting my own design firm. I used to sketch ideas late at night, logos, ads, product layouts. But life, marriage, and compromise talked me into stability. So I parked my dreams and became a safe employee at a safe company in a safe role. Creative enough to survive, neutered enough to not threaten anyone. But now I started moonlighting. Freelance gigs. Branding work for small businesses. I built a little online presence, polished up my portfolio, started putting my name out there again. And people noticed. Clients liked me. I liked me. 2 months into the comeback, I landed a retainer gig big enough to equal my salary. That's when I knew the exit was no longer a fantasy. It was an option. I wasn't stuck. I wasn't trapped. I had choices. And that changes everything. It was around then she noticed the difference. Not just physically. I dropped a belt size and started looking like someone who sleeps 8 hours a night, even if I didn't. It was the energy. The way I moved. The quiet confidence. She asked if I wanted to go to one of those wine painting nights we used to do. Said she missed us. I told her, there is no us. There's you. And there's me. But the guy you left behind? He's gone. She laughed nervously. Thought I was joking. I wasn't. See, I wasn't angry anymore. That's the part they never understand. Anger is their currency. It gives them control. But when you go silent, when you take your life back with a smile, they panic. Because they can't compete with indifference. I didn't file for divorce right away. I didn't pack bags and storm out. That's not my style. I stayed calm, calculated. Moved money. Protected assets. Documented everything. She was sloppy with her secrets, most cheaters are. They confuse affection with leverage. They think because you once loved them, you always will. She never saw the hammer coming. But that's for another day. Because this part of the story isn't about revenge. Not yet. This part is about resurrection. The man she cheated on isn't the man I am now. That guy died quietly in a beige kitchen one Thursday night. The man that replaced him? He's got calloused hands, a smirk he earned, and a very long memory. And he's just getting started. They say the opposite of love isn't hate, it's indifference. And let me tell you something, the look on her face when she realized I didn't hate her, that I didn't need her, that's when it hit her. She lost. See, she expected tears, or anger, or some desperate plea to fix us. Instead, I was cooking my own dinner, setting one plate, humming to myself, and looking better in a t-shirt than I had in years. She came down the stairs one evening in full makeup, one of those dresses she hadn't worn in forever. I thought we could go out tonight, she said, trying to sound casual. I didn't even look up from slicing vegetables. You should, I said. No sense wasting a good outfit. You could hear the silence blink. She stood there for a moment like her brain needed to reboot. Finally asked, are you seeing someone? Nope. You seem different. I am. That was it. No explanations. No monologue. I went back to cooking like I wasn't standing in front of the same woman who used to be my entire world. And that's what rattled her. Because nothing messes with a person who expects you to fall apart more than watching you thrive. Quietly. Steadily. Without needing to explain yourself. She started trying to be sweet again after that. Little things. Made coffee, just how I like it, 2 sugars, no trust. Left notes on the fridge like, hope your day goes well. With a little heart, like this was some high school romance reboot. But the thing is, you can't put toothpaste back in the tube. You don't come back from watching the person you swore forever with sell you out for cheap validation from someone with a firm jawline and zero integrity. I wasn't playing hard to get. I was hard to get. Because the old me, the doormat in an apron, that guy was gone. She started watching me more. Asking questions. What have you been up to? Living. You've been working out a lot. Yeah, I figured it out. Figured what out? How to stop dying a slow death in my own house. I didn't even say it with venom. Just facts. Like reading a weather report. That's when she started slipping up. Getting snippy. Snarky. Because nothing exposes insecurity faster than losing control over the person who used to orbit your every move. She tried picking a fight one night over something stupid, laundry, I think. I was folding a few gym towels and she stormed in, arms crossed, ready for a showdown. Do you even care about this marriage anymore? She asked. I looked at her, calm as a Buddhist monk with noise-canceling headphones. I cared when it still existed. What we've got now, that's just a lease we both forgot to cancel. She opened her mouth, but nothing came out. So she tried another tactic, nostalgia. Brought up the trip to Napa we took 3 years ago. Remember that vineyard we went to? You held my hand the whole time. I nodded. Yeah. I also remember thinking we were happy. She bit her lip. We were. No. I was. Then she did the thing. The Hail Mary play. She reached out, put her hand on mine. Looked up at me with those big, glassy eyes, the ones that once undid me with a glance. Maybe we can try again. Let me tell you something, my friend. That was the moment I realized I wasn't just healing. I was free. Because I didn't feel tempted. I didn't feel warm. I felt nothing. I pulled my hand back, gently. No drama. Madison, I said. You made a choice. It was a mistake. No, it was a revelation. You showed me what you really think of me. And now I've shown myself what I should think of me. She tried to argue. Said it didn't mean anything. That she was lonely. That I was always there but never present. I just laughed. You mean after I gave up my entire personality trying to meet your every emotional whim? You got bored because I became the person you said you wanted. That's not on me. That's on you. And here's the kicker. I didn't even raise my voice. I didn't shout. I didn't cry. I was composed. And that, more than anything, broke her. Because control doesn't work on someone who's already walked through hell and came back with new shoes and a sharper jawline. After that, things got awkward. She tiptoed around me. Tried to cook. Tried to reconnect. Even sent a couple of old photos from happier times. I didn't respond. I wasn't being cold. I was being done. That's the thing no one tells you. When you finally reclaim your life, you don't need revenge to feel powerful. You just need clarity. The revenge writes itself. And it was coming. Slowly, patiently, ruthlessly. But first, I had to finish this phase, the reset. I opened a separate bank account. Hired a lawyer quietly. Updated all my passwords. Backed up every email, message, and receipt. Got my ducks not just in a row, but in a damn military parade. Because when the time came, I wasn't just walking away. I was walking away with my pride, my freedom, and, oh yes, a little twist you would never see coming. But we'll get to that. There's a special kind of satisfaction in silence. Not the awkward kind that stretches between two people who've run out of love. No, I mean strategic silence. The kind that lets your opponent hang themselves with just a little extra rope. While she played wife in repair, baking banana bread and pretending this was 2018 again, I played chess. Not the game she thought we were in, checkers, emotional and frantic, but real, quiet, patient chess. I met with my lawyer every Tuesday at lunch. Nice woman. Wore glasses that made her look like she'd already predicted the outcome. She liked my plan. Documented, disciplined, and detached, she said. You've got a better shot than most. I smiled. Thanks. I've had practice. 5 years of ignoring red flags and pretending breadcrumbs were a meal. By the time I served her divorce papers, the house was already halfway mine and the bank accounts were protected. She got the envelope on a Wednesday. Poetic, really, since that's when her little yoga nights usually happened. She didn't cry. Not at first. She laughed. That sharp, mean kind of laugh that sounds like breaking glass. You're divorcing me? I just looked at her. I'm releasing myself. Denial's a hell of a drug, and she was hooked. The first week after being served, she tried the hot and cold routine. Sweet in the morning, venomous by dinner. I didn't react to either. I just went on with my routine, gym, work, cooking, freedom. Then she tried shame. You're not thinking clearly, she said. We built a life together. No, I replied. I built it. You just picked the curtains and left through the back door. That one hit. She stopped trying to guilt me. Started getting practical. Wanted to split things fairly. I referred her to my lawyer. Then came the crying. I made a mistake, she said one night, standing in the kitchen barefoot in one of those old shirts I used to love. Yeah, I said. You mistook my silence for weakness. That's a mistake people only make once. The light in her eyes dimmed. She realized, finally, I wasn't bluffing. I wasn't trying to punish her. I was finished out. I moved out 2 weeks later. Not to run, to rise. Got my own place. Nothing flashy, but it had sunlight, space, and silence I didn't have to earn. The first night alone, I sat on my new couch, sipped a beer, and realized I was breathing deeper than I had in years. Freedom doesn't always roar. Sometimes it exhales. She texted. Of course she did. I miss you. I'm sorry. Can we talk? I didn't respond. She sent a song. Our song. A last-ditch attempt to dig up nostalgia and wrap it around my throat like a leash. Delete. By then, she'd heard about the job offer, a creative director position at the firm I'd been freelancing with. Apparently, I was making moves. I was. I just wasn't making them with her. She showed up one day. I'd made the mistake of not updating the gate code at my new condo yet. I opened the door, expecting a delivery. Instead, there she was. Winded. Hopeful. Dressed down but made up. Hey. I didn't move. I was nearby. Thought I'd stop by. I raised an eyebrow. 2. She looked around. This is nice. I thought maybe we could talk. I held the door frame. Calm. Flat. There's nothing left to say. But you were my husband. Exactly. Were. Her lip trembled. She reached for something in her purse. Maybe a letter, a picture, a Hail Mary of guilt. I stopped her. Let me save you the time. She froze. You were my world. And I was your doormat. I spent years burying myself to make space for you. And when I finally disappeared, you cheated, not because I changed, but because you got bored of the man you asked me to become. She started crying. I kept going. You didn't fall out of love. You fell out of attention. And now that you're not the center of mine, you suddenly remember what we had. She sniffled. But you still love me. No, I said. I love who I was before you. And I'm finally him again. Then came the final line. The one I'd practiced, not out of bitterness, but closure. You are no longer a part of my life. And I closed the door. Revenge? Oh, I had one. But it wasn't loud. It wasn't messy. It wasn't illegal. It was elegant. I'd known who the guy was. Her side piece. Jason. Financial consultant. Hair product enthusiast. Ego the size of a small country. What she didn't know was that I'd been recording. Not illegally, just documenting things in plain sight. Her messages, her admissions, the timeline. Enough to make the divorce not just smooth, but devastatingly one-sided. And I'd send it, not to him, but to his wife. Who, by the way, had a mean legal team and a better poker face than I did. Jason lost everything. The house. Half his assets. And his side gig? Also terminated. His wife wasn't just angry, she was powerful. Madison didn't just lose me. She lost the man she threw everything away for. That was my revenge. Not the emails. Not the silence. Her life unraveling the same way she unraveled mine. But while hers collapsed, I didn't look back. I built something better. With time. With patience. With the lessons she unintentionally gave me. And when I finally stood on a beach a year later, the wind in my face and a new woman beside me, one who saw me fully, I smiled. Not because I'd won, but because I'd reclaimed myself.